What is up, everybody? Welcome to Party on Broader. NFL Draft coverage continues. We're going to get down and dirty with some safety prospects for the 2025 NFL Draft. Joining me is Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA on X. What's up, Ryan?
Not much, man. Ready to dive into a very important position that could be for the 2025 Eagles NFL Draft. So I can't wait to go into it.
Yeah, if you're an Eagles fan watching, we're not touching any of these first rounders. That's for sure, because there are a couple at least that we'll be talking about tonight. But there are some really intriguing, as always, day two guys that we're always going to fall in love with, and the Eagles probably never draft. Before we get started, if you didn't catch our previous coverage, we did our Heisman rankings. There they are. Go check it out down below in the description. The link is below. If you didn't check out our defensive line top 10 rankings for the 2025 NFL Draft, there they are. The full breakdowns and scouting reports are down in the description below. But today we're talking safeties. Some of my favorite positions here, especially as, I don't know, I feel like the safety position is getting more and more important, but that's just me. All right, let's jump into number 10. We're going to go 10 to 1, and then when we wrap it up, we'll go into some honorable mentions. But, yeah, again, this is the 2025 NFL Draft. There are guys like Caleb Downs of Ohio State. There are guys like KJ Bolden of Georgia. That's just a massive freshman prospect that look like top picks in future drafts. So we're not talking about them. We'll probably talk about those guys once the season starts. But let's go to number 11. Ryan, do you want to go first or second?
No, you go first for your number 10 pick.
All right. I might shock you a little bit on this one, but my number 10 safety in this class is a guy that I'm a little bit lesser on, and I think he's one of your guys. Correct me if I'm wrong, but give me Andrew Mabuza, who transferred to Texas this past offseason. Former freshman All-American at Clemson back in 2021, had 150 career combined tackles, 5 tackles for loss, a sack, a pick, 16 pass breakups, and 2 fumble recoveries during his 3 years at Clemson. He was a starter at strong safety. And, entering last year's draft cycle, this guy was considered a first-round draft pick. He had an up-and-down 2023 season. And the microscope was on a lot of his bigger flaws. And, when you talk about this guy, first thing first, he's got an amazing brand of mobility. His athleticism and physicality are really intriguing. He's an instant accelerator. He's got a lot of range. He's got a lot of fluidity, a lot of sync, a lot of agility as a cover man in space. All the necessary physical tools you're also looking at for a guy to play in the slot. But beyond those tools, I think Mabuza still needs to refine his technique and coverage. He needs to be better at tracking the ball downfield. I think he would also benefit from adding more mass to his frame to match up better against more physicality at the next level. But if he continues to refine and continues to improve the nuances of his game, I think this is a prospect to watch out for. I fully expect Mabuza to maybe be a guy that dominates the draft process during the months of like December and January and so forth. So keep an eye out for Andrew Mabuza, who at Texas now, he's going to get a lot of opportunity and be under that spotlight.
Yeah, I actually have him as my number 6 guy.
Cool.
I'm very high on him. Loved him coming out of Clemson, transferring over to Texas. So yeah, this is a good selection for me.
All right, Andrew Mabuza is off the board. I just had a feeling you were higher on him than me. Just had a feeling. I don't know why.
Well, all right, I get that.
Who's your number 10?
My 10 is a safety out of Alabama, Malachi Moore. I have a feeling that people are probably going to be a little bit higher on him, maybe, than I am for right now. But this is definitely a guy that I think is, very capable of being kind of versatile, multiple positions within the secondary. Very flexible in that aspect, which obviously we know Eagles fans, we know we love that flexibility. He's a very smart football player, very instinctual, and is really shown strides over his career, particularly against the run, and kind of able to kind of diagnose, the type of run and where it's going, and being able to be on those plays. So you certainly can, you know, be relied upon to be a tackler, especially against larger ball carriers. And he was team captain for the Crimson Tide last year. So again, that leadership role, very important. I know the Eagles certainly love that. And then, of course, he was able to kind of be a very big asset on special teams, which I know obviously a lot of NFL teams would love. But yeah, I will say he's maybe a little bit undersized for the safety position. Certainly, it does impact his ability to kind of shed blocks on a consistent basis. And then he does have some injury history. His durability kind of comes into a concern as well. So, but yeah, I certainly like Malachi Moore. I think he'll kind of I think he'll translate really well into the NFL, next season. And, again, the Eagles love themselves some versatile, defenders. So why not Malachi Moore?
It's a good one. He did not make my list. I have another guy in the secondary. Little spoiler warning. That is my honorable mention. We'll get to him in a little while.
From Bama?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was debating between the two of them as which one I wanted my number 10 to be. So
Malachi Moore is interesting because I feel like since I've been covering the draft, like he's been in college forever. Like I feel like I've been talking about Malachi Moore for a decade. Let's roll into my number 9. And he's a really interesting dude. It is Sebastian Castro out of Iowa. Iowa just loves to pump out some of these dudes. He was one of the breakout stars in the Big Ten last year. He returned to Iowa for his final season. He's 5'11", 200 plus pounds, hard hitter, a versatile defensive weapon. He has 61 total tackles, 8 tackles for loss, a sack, a forced fumble, 11 pass breakups, 3 picks, 1 return for a touchdown last year, and was right there with, Cooper DeJean as kind of that go-to playmaker in the secondary for the Iowa defense. He didn't allow a single touchdown in coverage last year as well. He's an older prospect, Ryan. He's set to turn 25 years old in October. And, while they're all positives, we have to bring that up. So this is a guy that's an explosive attacker. He's got solid route anticipation. He's a good processor. He's at his best when everything's kept in front of him. There are still things for Castro to work on. In press man, he needs to be more disciplined. He doesn't have that elite hip flexibility of some guys we're going to be talking about at the top of this list. Not an elite athlete, doesn't have great long speed. He's most likely an attacking box safety and frontline playmaker in the NFL. And yeah, he's going to be part of this Iowa secondary that's returning 4 players who had considerable playing time last year, even without Cooper DeJean. So Iowa's defense is loaded. Castro is joining another big-time prospect we're going to be talking about in just a few minutes that should form into one of the better defensive back duos in the entire nation. And I just think this guy projects as one of the better nickel defenders in next year's draft. I think he's a day one impact starter with one of the higher floors of anyone in this group due to that age. So give me Sebastian Castro. I've got a day 2 grade on him.
Yeah, no, he's actually my number 8 guy.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm right there with you. I think him and the gentleman we're going to be talking about probably higher up on our boards is definitely a guy that they form a really nice tandem. And honestly, I think the two of them work really well together. But yeah, he's a pretty physical a safety there that can kind of play different spots. And again, that's the name of the game, especially for the NFL. You give somebody some options of what you can do with your, That's the name of the game. So I like Castro. I think, he definitely has, some concerns, but yeah, the age thing is certainly one of them. But I don't know. I like him and his tag team partner that we're going to talk about soon.
Yeah, who's legit. That was your number 8, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. Mr. Sandman is now saying, now you're talking some hardcore football. That's what we do here on our NFL draft show. We're getting into the grease of some of these players. But I promise you, the guys at the top of this list are bona fide first-round talent. Daniel say, what's up? Happy Sunday. Yeah. Thanks for joining, Daniel. Ryan, who's your number 9?
So my number 9 is out of Ohio State, and that's Sonny Styles.
Nice.
Ohio State certainly has been the talk of their offense this offseason, but I think somebody that kind of gets a little bit under the radar here is Sonny Styles. He's a super athletic freak. In fact, he made the Bruce Feldman's freak list at number 20. Saying that for someone who is so young, he's really fast and probably as strong as anybody else in that weight room at Ohio State. And this was, saying something from Marvin Harrison Jr., one of his former teammates. So he's got great size, great length. He's got a frame that's going to easily translate to the NFL, especially when asked to kind of add a little bit more size, a little bit more muscle. He seems to kind of have that perfect frame that'll be able to keep up with the rigors of the NFL in that regard. He's versatile, capable of playing multiple positions within the secondary, and he's even kind of dabbled at linebacker when called upon. But he's quick. He runs a 4.4. He's great in run support. He's physical when he needs to be. Willingness to kind of come in and make a play. And he's got a really good high IQ. Good awareness of where a play is developing. He is very raw, though, I will say. And as far as his technique, the movement in his hips and kind of changing directions, he's really, only has the 2 college football seasons under his belt. But and his man-to-man skills kind of need some refinement, if you will. Especially against quicker slot receivers. But I think when it comes to the next level, I think he really is a really good safety fit. He has a good frame for it. And I'm excited to kind of, see Sonny Styles on that Ohio State team who is most likely going to dominate next year.
Yeah, they are. Big time. Chad says, what's up? Crackpot and Ryan. I was at Steelers camp today. Our buddy Mitch is going to be jealous of me because he got his boy Roman Wilson autograph on a rookie card. That's awesome, man.
Nice.
Yeah. Speaking of Roman Wilson, let's talk about my number 8. Shameless plug right there. We're going to Michigan, and I think this is a guy that we all know because we've heard his name quite a bit here on this show throughout college football season. But I'm going Rod Moore. He's an athletic safety. He's got the ability to play at multiple levels. He's got a smooth back pedal, and he's got very good quickness, foot quickness on deeper routes, and drive on routes in front of him. There's some real ball hawk traits that he flashes. He attacks the ball through receivers. He's got good timing when breaking up passes. You look at his resume, it's legit, man. The problem is he's struggled to stay on the field lately. He had an injury 2 off seasons ago where he was not able to take the field in 2023 until week 5. As the season progressed, he got better and better and better. And we all remember that game-winning interception against Ohio State. And to finish the year, he had 38 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 2 picks, 3 pass breakups, and a quarterback hurry. But then you look at this past offseason, he suffered a knee injury during spring practices and is expected to miss a portion of the 2024 season. And that's the biggest reason why he's so low on my list right now. As a prospect, he's like 6 foot, 185, almost 200 pounds. He's got excellent versatility. He can play single high. He can play two high. He can play off man nickel. He's explosive. He's fluid and rangy. And he needs to add a little more bulk, needs to add a little more muscle at the next level. I think he's done that this offseason. It's a shame he got hurt. Aside from that, he's a very well-balanced prospect. And I currently have a day 2 grade on him, even if he misses some time. So I love Rod Moore. I always have. And Michigan, my darling of Michigan last year was Mike Samerstill. He was one of my favorite players in college football last year. Yep. Maybe he takes he's the new Mike Samerstill. I don't know.
Well, shockingly here, I actually apparently love him more than you do.
No way.
I have him as my number 5.
Number 5. Wow. I love it.
I love me some Rod Moore here. I absolutely do. And you're right. Everything you said tracks. And he's definitely obviously he's coming back from that injury, and there's a lot to be said about how he's going to come back. But yeah, man, I just love his just natural ability. He just has a vision, and just man, he's the quarterback of that secondary. And I shudder to think what they're going to be like without him next year. But if he's even remotely close to what he was last year, and kind of seeing him grow, Michigan's going to have another elite defense. Yeah,
no doubt about it. I think Michigan's defense is as good, if not better, this year than it was last year. That's how I think the quality of talent, they're maybe not as deep, but I think the quality is better, if that makes sense.
No, definitely.
All right. Mr. Sandman says, assuming Fangio returns as defensive coordinator in 2025, highlight if these prospects fit Fangio's system. I like it. We will do that. We'll do that for sure.
Yeah. We'll definitely have to do a Fangio's guys maybe show.
That is a brilliant idea. Freaking, we've never done that before. I think that's genius.
That's a really good idea.
All right, we're definitely going to do that. 2025 draft prospect in August. You guys are not right. Facts.
Well,
who will be the Cam Kitchens in this group? That is fun
to say, because Cam had such a high rise and then just such a deep fall off a cliff. I still believe in him, honestly. I still do. And I'm going to be paying close attention to his career. That's for damn sure.
Kitchens was the number 99 overall pick. It was not terrible. I mean, at one point, I think at one point he was like my number 16 overall guy.
Yeah, exactly. He was a top 20 guy. That combine killed him, man.
I got to think about, because Kitchens fell because of the combine. His testings were bad.
Can you imagine if he just skipped the combine?
Yeah, it's early for that.
No, way too early for that, especially considering all these rankings are going to change like crazy by the time we get to December and January.
Marshawn, I'll come back to this question once I go a little more into this list.
There's also
all right, because we didn't get to our top guys, and that's kind of what we're talking about, like a top guy that just has a horrible draft process and falls like a rock. All right. I'm going to go into my number 7, 10, 9. Yeah, we're at number 7. And the guy we're talking about here is a crazy hitter. He is Hunter Wohler out of Wisconsin. Led all Big Ten defensive backs last year with 120 total tackles, the highest mark for a Badger defensive back since 1991. His 74 solo tackles topped all defensive backs nationally, period. His versatility really shined. He's the first Big Ten defensive back since 2010 to record 110 plus tackles, a sack, and multiple interceptions in a single season. First team All Big Ten, Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week accolades, just an immense leader on the football field, on and off the football field. As a prospect, you really like his size, 6'2". He's got a natural feel. He loves to play downhill and zone. He's got a lot of comfortability playing over the slot receiver. So clearly, like, the versatility there for the Eagles is all there. He's a solid athlete. I don't think he has elite range as some of the top guys, but I definitely think he has the ability to be a single high safety at the next level. Not a sideline-to-sideline guy, and kind of struggles to erase deep pass attempts, but playing in the box is what this guy is going to be all about. And I think overall, he probably projects best as a starting strong safety. And defenses that value swarming the line of scrimmage pre-snap with a lot of simulated pressures will be the best fit for this dude. Place Waller in an attacking style defense and watch this guy thrive. I think if the draft were held tomorrow, Waller's ceiling would probably be a second or third round pick. Any thoughts on Hunter Waller?
Yeah, this is a guy that just was just off my list.
Okay.
He was kind of in that 11, 12. I have, obviously I'll be mentioning two other guys, but yeah, he was kind of in that consideration of me. I think I had him at number 12, I think, technically. But yeah, I absolutely like him as a prospect. And, you're absolutely right in the fact that, this seems like a Howie guy. And I'm kind of excited to kind of see his progress because, he's going to go up against good offenses in that Big Ten, and he's going to be tested. And I hope he's still in this talk at the end of the year. Honestly, I really do.
Yep. Mr. Salmon says this is a hardcore football talk. Howie Roseman's already at your high school football games looking at 20, 30 prospects. I was hoping Kinchins with the second round pick before he fell. Me too, man. Me too. We were big Kinchins people here.
I loved him, man. I was heartbroken when he fell off.
Yeah. One of the most shocking combine results I've ever. When you watch the tape of Kinchins, like, he's flying around.
Right, and his RAS score came back so low. You're like, that. There's no way. There's just no way. Like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Well, easily the biggest loser of the draft process. Right up there. Who's that Penn State quarterback?
Kalen
King. Whew. Yeah, that was another big one. All right, who is your number 7?
All right, so my number 7 is a little shocking, maybe. At least I think it is to me, because he gets a lot of hype, and I think people kind of hate on him. But I'm going with Shiloh Sanders.
Wow.
Yeah, I like I said, I think a lot of people are kind of just assuming the name and all that, but I actually really like his game. I think he has excellent ball skills. He has just an eye, a nose, or whatever for creating turnovers. He forces fumbles, interceptions, you name it. He is looking to get that ball. He has, not blazing speed, but good speed for a safety, good range. And he's able to cover ground pretty quickly in the secondary. Instincts are very good, especially in zone coverage. Seems to put himself in a very good position to make plays on the ball. And he's also willing to kind of come up and support in the run game when needed, not afraid to hit that box and hit it hard. He could play both safeties, free or strong. And I think, again, he can kind of be moved around whenever needed. Obviously, he has, the pedigree from his father, but, he also, I just think, kind of has established himself, as a name, by himself. I think NFL teams are going to be looking at him quite a bit this year to see if he can continue to kind of progress. And, he also brings a lot to special teams. Now, as far as, negatives on him, his man-to-man skills certainly could use some tinkering. His tackling technique is not always the greatest. or I'd say maybe more inconsistent than anything. Yeah, he seems to struggle against kind of larger tight ends. Um, and obviously he has a bit of an injury history, but again, I kind of just like him for what he is. Take everything else out of it, and um, I'm excited to kind of see him grow this next season, to kind of see where he is at the end of the season, because I like him.
Yeah, I can't really comment on Shiloh Sanders. I need to see a lot from him this year
Sure.
because the talent level on that Colorado defense was so bad last year that I got to see more tape. I got to see more tape because everybody was so bad on that defense. Everyone. So we'll see. That's my take on that one.
Yeah.
But Colorado did load up this offseason with transfers and
They
stuff.
did. They sure did, and they still have Travis Hunter, who's gonna, from what I understand, is still playing both ways, and
Yep.
yeah, I like I said, I just think he kind of gets lost in the shuffle as far as the Sanders name, but still, I think also people just see the name Sanders and just just move on, move on. I don't even care about him, but I don't know when I look at film on him and look at games, yeah, that defense was not great, and that team fell off hard. But I just kind of like what I saw from him, technique wise and ability wise.
All right. Mr. Sandman says, say what you want about Jalen Hurts. It's such a relief going into the draft process, not worrying about finding your franchise quarterback. That shit is stressful.
Amen.
It is, man. It is. That is a whole process. But let's jump into my six. We're getting into some good ones here, getting some ball hawks. And my number 6 prospect is a guy that I talked a lot about last college football season. He made my college football player of the week on the shorts. If you watch them on Bleeding Green Nation, like multiple times, it is Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame. This dude is just a playmaker, straight up playmaker. He was in his 4th year with the Irish last year, 7 interceptions. He won the Bronco Nagorski Award as the nation's top defensive player. And this guy just has a knack for making huge plays. He's the type of player that offenses have to account for on every single snap. He's a physical safety. He used to be a linebacker, and it really shows. He is a guy that's looking to punish players every time they touch the ball. He's built like a tank. He's listed at 203, but I think he plays bigger than that. He's got excellent play recognition, and he's still learning the safety spot, but he's got fantastic eyes. He knows what the offense is trying to run, and he can play really fast. So, again, this is just extremely rare for someone who's just learning the position. And as a team, you look at Notre Dame, year 2 under defensive coordinator Al Golden. What's up, Temple? He saw Notre Dame emerge as one of the top defensive units last year. They ranked in the top 10 in scoring defense, 5th in total defense, 5th in yards allowed per play, and they got a lot of guys returning. Benjamin Morrison is one of the best cornerbacks in the nation. And you look at Howard Cross, the third, who we touched on last week or 2 weeks prior, and Xavier Watts. They've got a lot of big-time players on that defense for Notre Dame. Xavier Watts, man, needs to clean up some tackling issues. He can be over-aggressive at times to a fault, but he's definitely a guy that just can take over a football game. Xavier Watts is my number 6.
Nice. Love this selection. I have Watts at number 4.
Love it. All right.
Love some Watts. Yes, he is kind of raw and new and whatnot, considering everything. But yeah, man, I just when you see him play, it's something to me clicked, and it's just one of those things where, like, man, that is what a safety is supposed to be doing, and he is. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, again, and I know, like I said, he is, new in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, I will say that he kind of overcommits a little, too aggressive at times. But I think he only needs to dial that back so slightly because, man, when he hits on that aggressiveness, he is a playmaker, and just yeah, no, I'm actually excited for this Notre Dame team, to be perfectly honest. With the quarterback they got from Duke,
Riley
uh,
Leonard,
Riley Leonard. Thank you. Yeah,
Mitchell Evans, tight end. We're going to be
yeah,
talking about. Yeah, I have
maybe.
a feeling Mitchell Evans is going to be on your mock drafts quite a bit here.
Yeah, I have a feeling too. In fact, yeah, I already did it once. So, which, by
Yeah,
the
thanks
way,
for kicking my ass. By the way,
Nation 2025 starts just like 2024, baby. Let's go.
I hate it so much.
But that was a good selection. I like him. I feel like you're just naming all my guys here. I'm gonna be done soon. You might as well go again because I'm already down to my top three.
Yeah. All right. Let's roll on to my number 5. We'll see if he's on Ryan's list. But the guy I'm talking about is Billy Bowman Jr., one of Shane's dudes. I like him a lot. He had a career year last year, 6 interceptions. 3 of those were pick sixes. And he tallied the most interception return yards in Oklahoma history. He had 4 deflections, 63 total tackles. He was a first-team All-American. And if he duplicates that in 2024, man, you're looking at a guy that's probably skyrocketing into the second round. He's got a great mix of fluidity and explosiveness, lots of versatility. He can drop down in the box. He can play the post. He can align man-to-man in the slot. Solid instincts. Doesn't have an elite range, but I think his potential and upside is as legit as it gets. I think he plays bigger than his listed weight. He can be seen playing physical with bigger receivers on a consistent basis. An area of concern for this guy is he just needs to be more consistent against the run. He's a willing tackler, but not the best. And I think he's a little bit more does too much of an arm tackling on ball carriers. And that's going to be an issue at the next level. He's 5'10", but I definitely think this is a guy who can truly play on the top of a defense and not graced with excellent size, but he's plenty good enough due to his plus athletic traits, his ability to excel in coverage at each part of the field. I see Billy Bowman Jr. and Danny Stutzman dominating for the Oklahoma defense in 2024. Definitely a guy to know. The guy's a straight stud.
Yeah, no, it's a good selection. I think I have him a little lower. I think I had him at 14 or 15, if I can recall. I kind of have him pegged as like a 4th or 5th rounder right now. But again, I get the upside, and I get why you would think that. It's kind of one of those things where, like, some of these guys, man, it's depending on what you kind of focus on, you can get any of these guys kind of, 3 through 15, if you will, in some fashion. But I definitely like Bowman. I'm definitely going to be watching some of those Oklahoma games just for him. I feel like safety, linebacker, and for me, tight end are going to be the players that I want to see this year in college football. So definitely Bowman and Oklahoma are definitely going to be on my to-watch list for sure.
Yeah, man. Jackson Arnold's legit. Shane's been killing me with him in college football.
I gotta get on there, man. Every time
I play, man. We gotta play.
Every time I hop on, it's either like so late at night. I'm just so damn tired. But
all right, I'm gonna roll into my number 5. No.
Yeah. 4.
4. And we're getting into some really solid players, and we're talking Jeremiah Cooper here out of Iowa State. You looked last year, 4th round pick, TJ Tampa, kind of was the guy that set the tone for the Cyclones last year. Now it's all in the hands of Jeremiah Cooper, who looks every bit as good. Cooper was tied for 2nd place in the Big 12 in interceptions with 5, led the Cyclones in that metric, earned first team All Big 12 honors, 45 tackles, 1.5 for loss, a forced fumble. In coverage, he also notched 10 pass breakups, as well as returning one interception for a score. And if you're a team looking for a high-level coverage safety with versatility and playmaking, then I think Jeremiah Cooper is your dude. He's got natural instincts for the position, especially when playing deep. So athletically, this guy is really rock solid across the board. Elite explosive capacity, excellent range on the back end, tons of twitch, very quick feet, very fluid hips. Where it comes to weaknesses, questions linger about his ability as a run defender. He's got a slight frame, doesn't bring a lot of physicality to the position. But like if you're looking for a deep safety with single high and two high capabilities, as maybe play a little off-man nickel as well, this is your dude. I see him as a top 50 prospect. Jeremiah Cooper. Is he on your list?
Wow. Yeah, no, this is a guy that I just kind of had off the board here, kind of right with Bowman. Yeah, his smallest frame certainly, not, I wouldn't say scares me, but concerns me a bit. But yeah, he certainly has the upside. This is definitely a guy that I have a feeling that's going to be rising on these lists. And the fact that you are having number 4, that's so awesome. I love that. So I'm definitely going to have to keep a bigger eye on him. That's for sure. Now that he's already on your radar, he has to be on mine. So,
all right. Let's talk about a guy that I know is on both of our lists. Do you want to take it or do you want me to take it?
No, you're on a roll. Just keep on rolling. I'll take the next open spot.
Of course, because it's probably the most difficult name to pronounce. All right. It is Xavier Watts out of Iowa. This guy is awesome. You look at the last 2 draft cycles, the Hawkeyes had 4 defenders selected within the first 3 rounds. In 2024, you had Cooper DeJean to the Birds. In 2025, I think Watts could be the next guy up essentially for the Hawkeyes. 6'2", 210 pounds, explosive, excellent speed, excellent hip fluidity, excellent short area agility, has all the physical tools you're looking for out of a safety prospect. And play single high, two high. He has a lot of background just as a ball hawking center fielder. He's a former 5-star recruit, arguably the most upside of any player on the defensive side of the ball for the Hawkeyes this year. He's still very raw in a lot of areas, but I think this is one of the more breakout stars of 2024. If you believe in Pro Football or PFF and their grades, like his coverage grades were astronomical. So take that for what it's worth. But I think Iowa's defense, as we just mentioned, looks to be dominant again in 2024. They're playing in the Big Ten, which is absolutely loaded. That defense has 8 starters returning. I think the bigger concern for Iowa is on the offensive side of the football field. Iowa's offense had one of the nation's 10 least efficient offenses in each of the past 3 seasons and finished as the worst in the country in EPA per play last year. So that offense is bad, but luckily the Hawkeyes defense is completely loaded, and Xavier Watts is as legit as it gets, man. He's definitely a guy I'm going to be mocking to the Birds quite a bit in that high day 2 range.
Yeah, you can throw him. I have him right where you have him, right at number 3.
Oh, sweet.
And listen, this guy can play anywhere you put him, and single high, two high, in the box, it does not matter. This guy is very coachable, from what I understand. He seems to be a leader in that locker room. He is durable, having played every single game since he's joined the Hawkeyes. And yeah, listen, he is a little slight framed, but man, he doesn't play like it. But I'm sure in the next level, he's probably going to have to add some pounds. But man, he doesn't play like it at all. He's just such a solid tackler, and I absolutely cannot wait to watch the tandem of Castro and Nwakpa Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just so impressed I got that right.
No. I have one for you. Who was the guy I was working on today? Hold on, let me go to some rankings here. A little side. I love the pronunciation. The names where you have to work on these pronunciations is
Oh
so
my
much
God.
fun.
Right.
There it is.
Oh,
Nofa Afia Tulafano.
Nofa Afia Tulafano.
That's gonna be a fun one.
All right.
That's interior offensive line, which by the way is like loaded this year.
Loaded. Yeah. The,
Um,
the
but,
fact the fact that you have Donovan Jackson at number 3 should
that's
say.
not a ranking. Let me just make
Oh
that
no.
clear.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say I like me some Donovan Jackson.
Yeah. All right. Number 2. Do you
All
want
right.
it or do you want me to go?
Yeah, no, I'll take it.
Go
Number
for it.
2, from the Penn State Nittany Lions, give me Kevin Winston Jr. This is an absolute monster. He is just an insane tackler. By the way, I believe he had a 2% missed tackle rate in 2023, which ranked second among all safeties in college football. He's absolutely versatile. He can play a single high, two high, nickel, off ball linebacker if you want him to. Like he will and has played it everywhere. He's an explosive downhill player. Great at executing perfect angles, side to sideline range, instinctive, smart, and really utilizes his own length very effectively when taking and wrapping down ball carriers. He's aggressive. I can't say enough about this kid. I will say, yeah, he could probably just like most of these kids, they're kids. He could use a little bulk, and can be a little bit over aggressive at times, but not so much. But I feel like considering that he gets his man and he tackles them, he's only going to improve that missed tackle rate. But I will say, he's just fluid. He has just the look of an amazing safety. I can't wait to watch Penn State and just focus on this kid. He's special. He's just special.
Yeah, Penn State's defense is ridiculously loaded. Again, you look at Abdul Carter and Danny Sutton, and all like they're just loaded. But Kevin Winston
Yeah.
Jr., man, could he be the guy that falls a la Cam Kitchens like Kalen King? No, I don't see it. I like this guy screams Jaquan Brisker to me, and I think he's going to be a solid, probably high second round pick in my opinion. I also have Kevin Winston Jr. is my number 2 prospect.
Sweet. Love that. Then we have the same top 3.
Mr. Sandman says, since Tristan Wirfs, you just can't pass up looking at Iowa Hawkeyes. Yeah, they just pump out NFL players, man.
They do.
All right, number 1. Should we roll on?
I mean, this one was the easiest decision making, like Capital One banking. This guy is something special. Malachi Starks, man. Malachi Starks from Georgia. I don't know how to say, like, I don't want to overhype him and say he's like the next whatever, but man, he just seems to have an elite level at pretty much everything you want a safety to be good at. I mean, really, he just possesses just everything. I mean, he is athletic. He is quick. He is sideline to sideline. He is aggressive in his tackling. Some would say over aggressive. I'm not. I don't agree to that. But some try to knock this kid down. But honestly, I look at him and I don't see many faults. He just explodes out of his back pedal. Crazy exceptional closing speed. He has the ability to kind of transition. You see it in the fluidity in his hips, quick feet, and he's so effective in press coverage, tracks the ball well. I mean, geez, I could just go ahead and name all the things that you want a safety to have, and he does it. He just does. Like, he is, honestly, to me, just looking at before the season, he might be one of the best safety prospects that I've looked at in the last couple of years. And we've had some really good ones with Hamilton and Branch. But again, this is preseason, and there's a lot that can happen between now and draft time. But I don't see how this guy isn't a top 10 pick, honestly. Even if you don't even need a safety, you're gonna need this safety. Like, he's that guy.
Yeah, I remember doing our mock draft. Again, it's so early, but I think it was my draft. Was
He
it
went
mine?
one
He went
overall.
number one overall.
Yeah. I was
Which is
like,
wild.
all right, crazy, but yeah. All right, you're getting a playmaker.
Yeah, he's a stud, man. He you gotta mention this offseason, he did have shoulder surgery that he played. He had a shoulder injury that he played through all last year, and he did have surgery this offseason. He probably will be good week one, with just something to monitor as we get ready for the start of the regular season. But yeah, Malachi Starks is without question tier one of this group. So there it is. There's our top 10. I think the fun guys on this list, Shiloh Sanders out of Colorado for you. And then I'll go Jeremiah Cooper and Billy Bowman Jr. for me.
Nice.
Those are our main. You didn't have Hunter Roller either. So that's some differences on this group.
Yeah, we had three ones that we each didn't have. So we had 7 of the same, 3
That's
completely different. But a lot of your guys were just misses off of me. So yeah, no, I definitely am now going to need to mention honor mentions.
All right. Honorable mention time. Do you want to go first or second?
Yeah, I'll go first since you stole all my good ones. I'm going to go with Keon Saab. I assume that's how you pronounce it, from Alabama.
Yes, sir.
In there with Malachi Moore again. I think they combined for a very good duo there in that secondary. Just off the charts football IQ and instincts for this guy. He just seems to be in the right position at the right time, making plays on the ball, whether it's zone situations, whether it's man. It does not matter. This guy is consistent across the board in that factor. He's versatile. He can play different roles within the secondary. He's a good, strong tackle, good form, good physicality to go along with it. Good open field tackler. I think he got just under an 84% tackling grade last year, which is a very reliable score. He seems to demonstrate good range, closing speed, and really just has a good back pedal to go with everything. And yeah, I mean, he's not the fastest guy. He's hasn't had a lot of starting experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, he might over pursue here at times. I feel like everybody does that in their own right. But yeah, I just I don't know. I like him. He's consistent and solid to me, and that means a lot.
Yeah, it's a good pick. He's also my honorable mention, and you got to have an Alabama guy on here if you're an Eagles fan. And Keon Saab played at Michigan last year. Like you said, didn't start a lot. Only 5 games started, but you go back to that game in the college football playoff championship game versus Washington. Had 6 tackles, looked really good. Didn't get the opportunity to start in Michigan due to all the players returning. So then he decided to, get Nab a starting role and basically went, what's the word, to Alabama. Like, he went to a really good program, and look at their program, man. They got gutted in their secondary. Terrion Arnold, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Caleb Downs, Jaleb Key. Caleb Downs went to Ohio State. And, this guy is going to be kind of that adult in the room with Malachi Moore to keep up the pace. So Keon Johnson is definitely one to watch out for that. If you watched the Alabama tape last year, their secondary was so much fun to watch. That was just a treat. And he's going to have some big shoes to fill in 2024. So keep an eye out for Keon Johnson. All right. And that is our top 10, Ryan. We got through safety, defensive line. Who knows what we do next week? We'll figure it out from there.
I just realized that I am going to get very excited about the fact that we're doing all of this now preseason, and then when we, after the bowl games and when we really dive into 24-hour draft coverage, doing these exercises again and seeing how different they look. Like one could look completely different to the other, whereas some positions will stay pretty true. So it's fun to kind of see what positions those are.
Yep. Here's our defensive line rankings. It's all on paper, Ryan. I'm not changing it, I swear.
Yeah, we got it.
Here's our Heisman rankings. So it's all written in stone.
Nice.
Although you have the link to this too. You could easily just change it if you want.
Yeah, could, but anyway. It's also on video, so.
Yeah. We're going to do this with a hyper focus on the Eagles. So we'll surely be doing linebacker and offensive line, tight end for sure. That's a big one. Maybe we'll do tight end next. It's not a great group. There's some fun names.
Nice guys, but yeah.
I think it's going to be very similar to last year where there's a couple, 2 or 3 fun ones. And then after that, it's kind of projects. Hit or miss kind of guys, upside kind of guys. So, yeah. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Ryan, plugs, time's yours.
Yeah. Listen, like I said, I love doing these things now and later, and I love that you guys are along the journey with us here. So we appreciate it. Once the season gets started, man, we got some things for you. So certainly stick with us as we kind of go through these rankings, and then once the season starts, which, my God, it's right around the corner.
Yeah,
that's insane. So yeah, we'll be kind of doing a lot there. But anyway, normally you can find me every Monday, 6:00, Football Smack Talk show, 9:00 Party on Broad. Tuesday, the best Eagles show there is in the nation, Birds of the Round Table at 8:00. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And then, honestly, the only other thing I got going is the Beer Olympics this Saturday. My man Dives is coming down. We got a whole bunch of people coming in. We're going to be pictures, video. We're going to put together a highlight film so that way.
Oh my God!
Rose here.
That's great.
Yeah, so we're going to do it up big. I cannot wait. But yeah, stay tuned for that. And yeah, make sure you're following this guy, because if you need anything college football related, he's the guy to go to. Tell him.
Yeah, I've been pumping out scouting reports on the channel. Going to try and get to as many guys as I can before the season starts. Last thing to plug, Eagles. We're less than a week away from the first Eagles preseason game, so we'll have a lot of coverage on that. Halftime shows, post-game shows, you name it. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So one last time, at Philly Sports PSA, go give Ryan a follow on X. I am Dobbs, Mr. Crockpot. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you, tomorrow evening, 6:00, Football Smack Talk show. And then right after that, 9:00, Party on Broad, talking everything Philadelphia Eagles. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome.